Welcome to the Chosen One podcast show. My name is Sophie. I am a manifesting generator 1-3, and I'm super passionate about a lot of things. I love fashion, branding, human design, healing, channeled content, Genekeys, and everything business and mindset related. I called this podcast show The Chosen One for a reason because I truly believe that as MGs, we are here to challenge the world to do things differently, more nonlinear and with lots of playfulness. So if you are an MG like me or you like my MG energy, you are here at the right place to learn exactly how to live a MG life with zero limits.
You are the chosen one.
Okay, love. So they keep saying to me, it's not about the details. It is not about the details. It is not about the details. And I get goosebumps all over my body while saying this. And I woke up this morning in such a beautiful, stage almost. And I did this beautiful meditation from Joe Dispenza. Like he's my, he's my go-to. Like I really believe that we need some sort of like background program running to decondition ourselves, because like for me at least, when I do not have like a background program running, I tend to go in my default mode, like my old conditioned past experiences self, and that tends to take over, right? So I love like really having something playing on the background of my mind, even if it's at a low sound. But I love having something to activate a certain frequency that I just choose to live by. And I did this beautiful meditation this morning, and they showed me such an amazing image. And I have this, I like this image comes to me more often. It's like, I don't know if you guys saw the movie Mary Magdalene, but there you have like the images of like Jesus walking through the fields and then his apostles following him, and he's just really just doing his own thing, and just he's trusting, right, that wherever he comes he will serve a purpose, and there is no chasing, he's just being, right? And that's the image that they keep showing me. And I know that's my path to really find a way to run my business in a way that's truly aligned to me, and at the same time is so incoherent, like so in line with that frequency, the frequency of being, which is sometimes so difficult in the online business. And they're like saying that I can't say that it's difficult because that's just a perception. It's not, but we can think it can be difficult because the loudest voices in the online marketing space are voices of like, you have to be out there and you have to be loud and you have to do this and you have to do that. And I was sort of triggered because I was scrolling to the podcast images, and I see now that a lot of people, for example, place their amount of downloads of the podcast show in their podcast picture, right? And I was like, oh, interesting that they're doing this. Oh, and while I'm saying this, there's a black cat with white feet walking into our garden. That is so interesting. I'm just going to feel after this episode, like, what is that trying to tell us? But it's like, the sense that I get from that is like almost like the witch kind of energy, but like not a bad witch, like the good witch, like really just trust your own divine path, trust doing things in your own divine way, and don't get distracted by the outer world. Like that's the message that they just showed me after seeing that cat. And I feel like that's such a message for me, but for my followers as well, right? I truly believe that we all attract our own specific tribe. And I have like told you guys over and over again, like I'm not a human design coach. I do not resonate with that title at all. And I don't view myself as a human design coach. But I do like the framework of like the energy types and the profile numbers and the sacral and emotional authority to sort of like help me understand myself better and to also help my clients help to understand them better. But my interest like stops there. Like I just try to listening to a episode where they go like deep into all the details of like split definitions and all that kind of stuff. And in this moment in my life, that's like not drawing, like it's not pulling me, it's not lighting up my sacral energy at all. It's sort of like what it sort of confuses me almost, or it triggers my mind, and that's like not a place that I like to be in. I like to be like in a very aligned space and in a knowing space and in just like a trusting space and just really trusting that the universe will always show me the next best step. And yeah, that's just like not really pulling me. So like I sort of felt like the need to emphasize that I'm not a human design coach, and I feel like a lot. Oh yeah, that's what I want to say. Like I feel like we are all attract our own tribe, and I feel the women that I attract are also interested in the human design concept. They like the energy type that gives them sort of like a peace of mind, like yeah, like a sort of like a form of acceptance. But then after that, they're also like, okay, let's not go too deep into this stuff. And I feel like we are also invited into just like being. And if you guys listen to some webinars I gave, I think a couple of months ago, I was really talking more in depth about the Messiah role and about being the Messiah and about like really having that we are really called and brought to this world to serve a higher purpose and to also really show the world and our followers, but also our children, that like to give us like that total permission to be ourselves. I feel like that's such a big part of it. And the last couple of days, I've been channeling some beautiful offers for new clients, and I don't know, I'm just really drawn in this moment again to like really my channeled work and just like really working with the energy and of course implementing or using the human design strategy and the authority as an outline. But that's just like it's just like the starting point. There's so much more to do. It's at the end all about energetics, and it's all about like showing up and becoming visible and like yeah, I feel like it's so interesting because I always feel like, oh, I'm so visible, right? I do not have any issues with being visible on social media or on podcasts or showing myself in a vulnerable way. But I feel like we all have a level of visibility that triggers us, right? And for me, I have my own layers of visibility that are scary, that I'm like deconditioning. I'm like, I'm not allowing that to keep me small, right? I'm also, yeah, I'm really looking into that. So that's very beautiful. So I don't know. It's like not a very, oh, there's another cat, a white cat. So all the cats are coming into the garden today. Very, very interesting. Okay. So I have a tendency when I speak about these things that cats find me. I mean, maybe if you guys have listened to me for a longer while, you remember this, but I think when I first started working with Jenna Black, which was my coach back then, um, I got so many downloads, right? I was really into the whole priestess energy. And if you go back to my Instagram and you go all the way down below, or even in the highlights, I think you have the mystical journey. I did this 7-day mystical journey where I take you on this priestess route. And I remember recording a podcast back then as well, and then like these cats kept coming to me, like walking up to me, and I feel like yeah, they just show up whenever I really channel this kind of energy. And it's like that priestess beautiful energy, and I really feel like all my followers like have a we are all priestess, we all have that energy. We have all have past life experiences where we had experiences of being shut out, and I feel like that has like that still influences our daily story, right? It still has an influences. It still has an influence on how we show up today. There's all for a lot of my clients, there is a fear of being completely out there, and that has nothing to do with this life. It has so much to do with past life experiences. And yeah, I channeled this other portal for one of my clients the other day where the energetic surgery came through again. So yeah, it's interesting that I really like, I think that's my 1-3 profile as well, right? I really have these episodes, right? I have like months that I can be totally into one thing, and then I sort of switch back again to like more of the priestess energy, and then I switch back to the other thing again, and it's like waves, right? And I really love that about my profile. And I feel like in a past life, but in this life, but in a past life, like before I chose to really fully like myself, right? It's not about loving myself, but I really like myself. I would like maybe judge that, but I like it. I like it so much. It keeps my business adventure and my whole life adventure. It keeps it very fun, and it never gets dull, right? I'm just curious to see where this is going. I'm curious to see where this is taking us. I'm curious to see like maybe like what kind of topic I'll do in the next webinar, whenever I'm gonna host my next webinar. Maybe this energy will come through more and more. It's just so interesting. It's so interesting. But for me, it is like very potent again that like, yes, I focus on manifesting generators, and that's of course connected to human design, but I am so not a human design coach. That's really clear to me. It's really, really clear to me. And I was even thinking about like getting a human design reading for myself. And for now, I feel like such a sacral no to that. I feel like, no, that's not my path at all. That is not my path at all. That's like something that is conditioned, and that would be from a conditioned space interesting to do. But no, that's not pulling me at all. No, no, no. We're getting way more into like the energetic game at this point. Just being, allowing, downloading, right? I mean, once we give ourselves the permission to fully be ourselves, and that's of course where the energy type and the profile type gives us like, it helps us. But that's the reason I used human design, to like give myself like this full permission to be myself. And then from that space, just be like an open channel to receive whatever God is trying to show me, and to really use me as a vessel and a conduit to do whatever it is I need to do. And it's always like such a fun place to get back to this space. Like sometimes I sort of like forget it a little bit, and then I come back to this space and I'm like, oh my God, this feels so good. Like just knowing that the only thing I have to do is to show up and do my part, and that God like literally shows me the way, right? Okay, this is what you do now. This is what you do now. It's just an amazing space to be in. And yeah, I hope this energy reaches you and serves you well, and also helps you understand like that doing sales is actually a very sacred thing as well. I sent it out an email about it I think yesterday, and I'm not quite sure if my team has already posted it on social media, but I've sent it to them, so they'll probably will post it one of these days. And it's all about like how sales is a sacred act, right? I mean, I do not do sales because it's not a thing that I do. I check off of my to-do list, right? The other day I got a question from somebody in my messenger, and she said like, I sent it out this email about a channeled portal that I received at night 2 days ago. And she was asking me like, is this your sales day? Because I do have like in certain periods of my life, I need some sort of outline, and then I have like certain sales days, because that really helps me keep the momentum going when I'm in that stage. And it was so interesting because she asked me that question. I was like, no, this is not my sales day, but this is like just a sacred download I received last night. And it really showed me like, oh yes, I'm entering a different portal again, a different timeline at this point again, because there's no need for any sales day in this moment where I'm at right now. In this moment, I just know that God will show me exactly what to do. But it is interesting when we're talking about human design or being manifesting generator in specific, that we tend to have these moments that we are super aligned and that we are really open to all the communication, and then sometimes there are these periods in our lives that it feels kind of still and that we do not receive the information so well. And I guess my outline in my business is really designed to help me in those periods when there's not so much coming, that I'm not so open to receive. I love having then a framework to keep my energy going. But when I'm in these periods, I do not really need those outlines because I'm so attuned to the divine energy that there's like no way to interfere, right? There's no need to interfere. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So, yeah, let's just see where this is taking us, and let's see what beautiful content will come out of it for the upcoming weeks. And again, sales is a beautiful thing to do if you do it in an aligned way, if you do it in a way that serves a higher purpose. And you have to understand that your specific gift serves a higher purpose, and there are really literally people waiting out there for you to show your gift. So when you're listening to this podcast and you feel like this podcast is for you, then let it be a sign. Let it be a sign to really start showing up more and more and more. And you don't have to do it in a way that feels aligned to you. But if this is like, if you feel that sacral response to this episode and you're like, oh my God, yes, this message is for me, then just trust that it is for you, because I receive my content and I receive my messages for you guys, right? God is working through me to reach you guys. So just accept the message and, and commit to it. Commit to it. We can so commit as manifesting generators. We just commit in a different way. We do it in a non-linear way. So yeah, that's such a beautiful place of acceptance when you get there and when you understand, okay, I can commit, right? A lot of manifesting generators think they can't commit because we do not finish books, we do not finish courses, we do not finish, we tend to not finish things. But at the end, we always finish something, but just in a different time frame, right? Like I said, everything goes in waves. So I have my wave from a certain topic, and then I go to another wave of another topic, and then I go to another wave of another topic. And it's not even topics, they're more like energetic realms or something where I step into, and I just I take, like when I'm at a certain energetic realm, I'm like playing there, and then when I'm done playing there for the moment, I go to the other energetic realm, and then when I'm done playing there, I go to the other energetic realm, right? So give yourself that full permission to investigate, to explore, to skip to all those different realms, and just understand that, like my mom was saying the other day, which was so interesting as well. She was like, when I started my business, even before I started my online business, when I was still working as a psychologist, I actually was running a web shop as well, with fashion. And she was like, it's so funny. You started off with that, and now you're like back at that space again where you're implementing the fashion into your business. And she's like, you have such a unique way of doing things. You do things and then you sort of stop, and then it comes back again in a different form. And I think that's really the path of a lot of manifesting generators. We are so multi-passionate, and it all, like, we do not have to figure out how it all comes together. It comes together in the way that it comes together. We do not have to interfere there. And when you just follow your passions and when you just do what lights you up, that's the only responsibility we have, to do the things that light us up and to follow those blisses. Like if I were like conditioned doing my business in a conditioned way, I would be like, okay, no, I have to stick with speaking solely about human design, because That's what I spoke about last month. But that's not how we are designed as manifesting generators. We follow the thing that lights us up. So I always follow the thing that lights me up in the moment. And that's why I create outlines in my business that really allow me that space to shift things around. And this is actually one of the things I teach in my course, The Art of Responding, as well, because we really, like, I also, for example, have this lesson about how to create your niche as a manifesting generator, because that's very difficult, right? Because we shift so often in our interests. So finding like one specific niche, we can feel like overwhelmed by that, and we're like, we can't pick and we don't want to pick. But you actually can, if you do it in a way that is actually allows you to also change it up. And I think that's like one of my, I remember at the end of the portal with Jenna, with my coach back then, she was like, don't be afraid to just like simply change everything again. Like, just keep changing, because that's so beautiful of our energy, right? We are just always evolving, and when we give ourselves that full permission to evolve and to just follow our heart and to do whatever lights us up, that's when the real magic occurs. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna wish you all my beautiful love. And just know there is a way to run a very aligned and beautiful business as a manifesting generator, if you just simply allow yourself to tap into that energy of, it's actually like, I will say one final thing about this. Aligning yourself to your strategy to respond is actually the way that you will start receiving God's voice way louder. That's just the way it is. If you allow yourself, if you give yourself that full permission to be yourself, that's when you can hear his voice so clearly. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that, and we'll talk soon. Okay, loves, so if you love this episode and if you are a fan of the show, you can win something so cool, because I have an amazing Genekeys Moneyline bonus, and it's such a valuable bonus where you actually learn all about your specific money line in the Genekeys and what your most natural way of making money actually is, right? So who doesn't want to learn that? Everybody wants to learn that, right? And you can actually win this beautiful bonus course. Okay, so how can you win this course? There are two ways. Number one is that you go to iTunes, leave a review, make a screenshot, and share that on Instagram and tag us at Sophie Dipmar Official. So that's number one, leaving the review on iTunes. The second way, you can also do both, of course. And second way is that you go to the link in the description down below, download the amazing free training I have set up for you, which is all about how to convert your followers to paying clients as an MG. And once you looked or listened or whatever you do, when you downloaded that specific training and you make a screenshot of the training and you post it on an Instagram story and tag us, you can win this amazing Genekeys bonus course. So that is the second way you can do it. So we are gonna pronounce a winner, and we're gonna do that on the 16th of May, because then I'm turning 38. Sounds so old, but it's the truth. So yes, until the 16th, you can join this amazing opportunity to win the Money Genekeys bonus. I have both options described in the description of the podcast episode. So either the reviews on iTunes or the screenshot of the amazing free training I have set up for you. It's an on-demand training. You can access it right away, and the link to download that specific training is in the link of this amazing episode. Okay, looking forward to seeing all your tags.